In short-term rentals, control is the real competitive advantage. Control over your bookings, control over your guest experience, control over how your business grows in 2026. Lodgify gives rental operators the tools to build direct booking websites, automate guest communication, and manage every channel from one platform without adding complexity. This is how rentals stop feeling reactive and start feeling more intentional. Skift Daily Briefing listeners get 20% off any yearly or bi-yearly Lodgify plans with code SDB20, available through March 2026. Details are in the show notes.
Welcome back to the Skift Daily Briefing. It's Friday, March 13th. I'm Sarah Dandishi, and today, Marriott is seeing a Middle East dip while accelerating AI tools to keep travelers booking direct. Hyatt says wealthy travelers are rerouting, not canceling, amid global shocks. And a new Europe study shows more travelers are choosing trains, but not for the reason that you think. Let's get into it. First up, Marriott, geopolitics and the AI race. Marriott CEO Anthony Capuano says demand has softened in the Middle East because of the Iran war. Cancellations are up and forward bookings are weaker, but he also emphasized that so far the disruption looks largely contained to the region. Europe for now is holding up, and Marriott's exposure there is relatively modest, about 4% of global room inventory, 7% of the development pipeline, and 4% of global fees. The bottom line here is volatility is real, but Marriott's message is contained impact unless it spreads. Now, here's where it gets more interesting. Marriott is pushing ahead with AI tools designed to keep travelers inside its own ecosystem. The company is developing conversational natural language search for its website and app, aiming to pilot in the next couple of months and roll out more broadly by mid year. And they're not starting from scratch. They've been testing natural language search on homes and villas for about 2 years now, and they've learned something kind of hilarious and kind of human. Even when you give people a fancy new search box, many still type dates, rate, number of guests, like it's 2012. But they're also seeing a new behavior, people asking broader questions, loyalty points, pet policies, stuff that typically ends up as a customer service ping or a site scavenger hunt. Mara is also expanding guest messaging so communication can happen before arrival and throughout the trip, not just during the stay. So, the takeaway this isn't AI for the sake of AI, it's a direct channel strategy dressed as convenience. Capuano also flagged growth areas, luxury opportunities like wellness and longevity programs, plus the idea of an urban version of Ritz Carlton Reserve. And on the other end, Marriott sees a big opening in mid scale, especially extended stay, saying it's still early in that push and demand from both travelers and developers is strong. Next up, Hyatt, and a very clear read on how the high end traveler behaves when the world gets loud. Hyatt's CFO said wealthy travelers aren't canceling trips, they're rerouting. Hyatt saw Middle East occupancy fall because of the Iran war. Mexico also took a hit after cartel violence triggered a quick burst of cancellations in late February. But in both cases, the impact was contained. And when guests pulled out of places like Puerto Vallarta, many didn't ditch spring break. They just simply rebooked into another Hyatt destination across Mexico, the Caribbean, and the US. Hyatt also pointed out why it's insulated here. Roughly 70% of its rooms are in luxury and upscale tiers. That customer has been unusually resilient, prioritizing travel as a major discretionary spend even when headlines are messy. The bottom line the luxury traveler isn't disappearing, they're just changing the map. And our third story Europe trains and the real reason greener transport is catching on. New research from the European Travel Commission suggests long haul travelers are increasingly moving around Europe with lower emission options. Trains, public transit, walking, cycling EVs rising from 13% to 18% year over year. But the surprising part is motivation. The shift appears to be driven more by slow travel and the experience of the journey than climate concern. There's even a phrase for it transport romanticism. This idea that the journey becomes part of the trip's identity, city center, fewer airport queues, better views, more ease. Brands like Rail Europe and operators like Intrepid are basically saying the same thing. Yes, climate awareness matters, but convenience and experience are doing a lot of the heavy lifting. The takeaway here if you want more travelers on trains, sell the better journey, not the greener one. Well, that's it for your Skift Daily Briefing. For more travel industry news and analysis, head to skift.com. And as always, subscribe at skift.com/daily. Thanks so much for listening.